Hello, Doctor Who fans across the world. I'm Paul from Who Corner to Corner podcast, and I'm joined by the amazing Jonathan Wilkins from Titan Comics. How are you, Jonathan?
Oh, I'm very, very well. Very well indeed. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. I'm good. Thank you very much for asking. We do normally have a third person here, but I can't see him behind that 15th Doctor comic that he's reading. Hello, Geoff.
Hello. You're here. Oh,
there you are, mate.
I've just been reading the newly released 15th Doctor collection. Everyone Must Go. So, yeah, I've been slightly busy, really. Yeah.
Is that from Titan Comics by any chance,
It
Geoff?
is, yeah.
No,
And,
what a coincidence.
wow. Yeah, and I was just perusing the credits list, and it's edited by Jonathan Wilkins.
Jonathan Wilkins, what?
Who's that? Wow.
You don't mean the same Jonathan Wilkins we've got in our studio right now, do you?
Have we done synergy?
Wow, it's an amazing marketing strategy. Fantastic.
Yeah.
That's incredible, isn't it?
Thank you for sending this, Jonathan. I must say, I read this again the other day, and it is absolutely superb, this story. I'm not just saying that. It really was good. I thought that the Doctor and Ruby kind of got separated. They had their own kind of storylines going on with it, and it's a very intriguing new villain brought into it, and the return of a classic villain as well, without giving too much away. That may or may not be.
Oh, you can give it away. You can give it away. It's the Cybermen. The Cybermen are back.
Yes.
Come on.
Geoff was skirting around the edges there, not sure whether he should jump in the pool.
Yeah, let's not shock it. Let's just kind of get out there and
straight
say it.
in.
Yeah.
So we've got the return of the Cybermen then. 15 Doctors squares up against the old foes from Telos.
Yeah. With a very cool redesign as well. But there's a bit more to it than that, isn't there, really, Jonathan? And without
absolutely
saying too much. And I particularly loved the art which Kelsey Ramsey has done. It was a really cool style, and kind of captured the likeness and the personality of both our lead actors really well. So if anyone hasn't read it yet, go and pick it up now. It's really good. So we've reconvened tonight, haven't we, to look at a much loved episode for...
Well, you say much love. I love it. I love this story to absolute pieces, but it does seem to be a little bit divisive. Go on.
You say that, but I posted on Twitter about it yesterday, perhaps. We've had 30 comments.
Yeah.
So I posted about it the other day. Let us know what you think of Frontios, and we didn't really get much. So I reposted it. Now we've had 30 comments, and I would say most of them.
Are they good comments?
A good 90%
are they positive?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. A couple of people said they like Frontios, but they preferred Bactios.
That's hilarious.
But,
well done, those with the sense of humour out there. I love that. Yeah,
I've never actually seen this story before.
Seriously, is this your first time?
Yes, it is.
Oh, mate, I didn't know that. I thought you'd seen it like a while ago or something. But this is
this
is brand new for you.
Yeah. So this story's not out on the collection yet, is it? Is that right?
No, it's from season 21, is it?
Season 21, yeah.
Yeah.
So I haven't yet seen it. So yes, this is my first time. And Jonathan, how many times would you say you've seen this one?
Oh, quite a few. Like, whenever it's been released as a video or DVD, I've watched it. I actually watched it a week or so ago on iPlayer.
Yeah.
Obviously read the novelization when I was a kid, and I have to say, this is my favourite season of Doctor Who. And I, before anyone says, I know there's a couple of turkeys in there.
I disagree. I think no, no turkeys.
You're a big Twin Dilemma fan, yeah?
Yeah. Apart from that.
Yeah, go on.
we watched that
I
a
don't
little
mind
while
it
ago.
actually. You know, once you take a couple of bits out of it, which are quite jarring, it's not a. There's a good story in there, struggling to get out somewhere.
Oh, when we watched that, I was like, oh, you know, this is supposedly the worst Doctor Who of all time, except for, well, you know, pick any episode at random. And I really liked it. And you know, like I'm watching it and I'm thinking, I don't get the hate for this at all. You know, so I quite like the Twin Dilemma. There,
But anyway,
Fair enough. Fair enough.
it's your favourite season of Doctor Who. Is that like every season? You know, the modern series and the classic series combined, the whole lot.
Yeah, it is, because it was the one that it came after the anniversary. There was an amazing publicity poster that I think was in the Doctor Who magazine of the Doctor, Tegan and Turlough with this smoky ground, and they all look. And it was really confident. You know, if you look at it, Davison is about 3 foot taller than the other two actors. It's amazing. He's clearly standing on a box. You know, it just, like, going into that season, you know, it felt really big. It felt, you know, you started off with, you know, the Sea Devils and the Silurians, and then, you know, then you have the Awakening, and which is a really traditional, if you like, almost like a Pertwee-esque demons type story. But there was also with that season, you knew the Daleks were coming up.
Yeah, that was a big thing.
That was a huge thing, and I remember the trailer that they showed for the season, which were lots of bits of the season. You kind of like the clip from Frontios. They show, oh, is that the Dalek one? That looks a bit like they're on Skaro. And it was like, you know, and your mind, because you just don't know. There's no internet then. There was no hype beyond a brief trailer you saw. That was everything.
Yeah. And it was a good trailer. There's no doubt about it. I remember it well. You're talking about it now is bringing that spine-tingling vibe right back. That excitement I felt back then.
And I can't remember when the season started. Whether I think we knew that. I think we did because we knew at the 20th anniversary that there was a new Doctor coming. So we knew this was the last season of Peter Davison, and he was very much my Doctor. Like I kind of came in towards the end of Tom Baker, but Davison was really the one, you know, for me. And it was like, how's he going to leave, and what's going to happen, and it was just, there was a real excitement knowing the Daleks were coming out. Are the Daleks going to exterminate the Doctor? So, you know, your childlike imagination runs wild, and and amongst it all, there's this weird little story about space woodlice, which I happen to love. So yeah, that's kind of where I came from on it.
Brilliant. Okay. On that note,
I'd just like to read
I think that was a nice segue into the episode there, Geoff.
Yes,
but no, Geoff's got more to say. Come on, then.
I'm just going to read a couple of comments. I said that overall it had been really positive, but I've just read one comment particularly here. So Art Hoovian, who's Toby, says, one of my favourite classic stories and almost a contender for best Davison story, but Enlightenment and Androzani take that cake.
Yeah.
And he said also perhaps the story I see people talking about the least. So I said, well, we're aiming to
that's
fix
interesting,
that
actually.
And then Matthew Hewitt says, awful. Production-wise, it's not bad for the era, but the dialogue and most guest performances are excruciating. The incidental music overly strident, and Bidmead writes the main cast like he's never seen the show before, which is odd, to say the least.
Are we watching the same show here, Michael? Yeah. I mean, this is that. I don't know where that's coming from, to be honest. That seems unreasonably harsh.
You read Mark Mangan here. I think it's great, but for some reason I never rank it high in my favourite Fifth Doctor episode. So maybe he might have to have a rethink. Logan says, really intriguing story. I really liked it when I first watched. JWC Reviews says, very good story. The only Bidmead story I like. Had a hard sci-fi vibe to it, though perhaps with hindsight the Tractators and the Gravis look a bit rubbery. The destruction and reforming of the
That's what they're talking about.
What?
So there's, you know, it's leaning much
it is a
to
bit
the
Marmite,
positive.
isn't it? I think you kind of you kind of love it or you hate it. I think I'm not sure there's a middle ground.
Somebody somebody online on the Twitter thing I noticed said that they found it a bit far-fetched, which they thought was a bit of a rich comment, given I feel that Doctor Who as a concept is rather far-fetched, and that's why we love it.
There you go. Exactly that.
It's, when people say,
don't mention Kill the Moon.
The moon could be an egg.
Right, can we watch the episode? I'm getting frustrated now. I'm getting impatient. I just want to watch it.
Right,
now.
Here we go. On 3. 1, 2, 3.
Yes.
There you go. Got it.
Here we go.
Are you in? Are you in? You going?
Yeah.
There you go. Beautiful. Look at that Starfield.
Whenever we start, I always say I love these titles. So I love
Louvre patterns on
colours.
Rita's face.
Yeah. Yeah, so good.
Yeah.
So, Paul, which is your favourite Fifth Doctor season?
It's this one. There's no question about it. This is the one that I just remember being really excited for all the reasons Jonathan's just pointed out there. And the fact this actually is written by Christopher H. Bidmead as well, because I love Castrovalva. I love Legopolis. Those stories and the books, and I just was really excited to see his name pop back up in the writers' credits. And there's the guy from the Anedin line. Was he James Anedin? Who, because that's the thing that my dad used to watch a lot, so I'd catch it and I think, what's he doing in there? It's an old 70s thing.
They're doing a bit of excavating. They look quite... Oh, look, something's moving. They look quite military, don't they?
They do. Especially, those costumes look rather familiar, do they not? And the guards? Where have I seen them before?
I don't know. Now, this looks great, this little set. It's really nicely lit with all the green and...
Yeah.
We've talked about that a bit.
Yeah, it's often said about this period of Doctor Who that the lighting was very bad. They always had the lighting turned up, and I guess with Warriors of the Deep, the lighting didn't do any favours to things like the Merca. But this one I think is really well lit, actually.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we talked a bit about it on some Sixth Doctor episodes, didn't we, Paul? That it's actually quite dark and shadowy, and some very nice lighting on some of it. And
well, do you know? I mean, just going back to Warriors of the Deep, actually, because we did a little episode on that, didn't we? And when I watched that again, because there's always this thing in my mind that Warriors of the Deep is just bright white, and it is a lot of the time. But there are moments where they actually turn it down, and it gets quite shadowy in some of those corridors.
Yeah, I mean, TV back then was, it wasn't film at all, was it? It wasn't trying to be like cinema budget and time and all of that.
This is just on the cusp of when they did start going down that route a lot more. I think they were spending a lot more on, bigger budget location type drama serials and what have you. And Doctor Who was starting to look a little bit old hat by this time.
Yeah.
Now, this is quite important. The Doctor moves the hat stand.
Yeah, you're not hat people. This Doctor is a hat person. He has a hat. I've got the action figure of him wearing that.
Have you?
I wonder how many. What's the thing he's wearing on him?
What's that?
What do you call it?
His celery.
Veg. Yeah, the celery. I wonder how many
vegetable.
celeries they went through per season.
I don't know. We'll have to find that out. Was it real celery or was it a prop celery? That
looks pretty real to me.
It does, and its celery budget was £5,000 a season.
Yeah. So this is something else that kind of typifies this era of Doctor Who, doesn't it? We have a slightly longer TARDIS scene than we ever generally used to see.
Yeah. I like the relationship between Tegan and Turlough. Like they're like a sort of brother sister, kind of, but don't quite get on. That whole thing of when Turlough's goading her about the doomed planet Earth.
Yeah.
So did you two prefer Turlough and Tegan to Tegan, Nyssa, and Adric?
I think I probably did, actually, thinking about it. There was a lot more... there's a kind of a spike in it. So the thing with Turlough is you could never really trust him, because he had that whole arc in the previous season, didn't he, where been told to kill the Doctor by the Black Guardian. This season he's got out of that. So I was kind of remember at the time thinking we might start to get to see who Turlough actually is.
Was Turlough the first companion whose origins were a mystery, apart from Susan, obviously, but who's, we didn't really know.
It's a good question, actually.
Where he was from, what, and he ended on we find out who he's from, because that's kind of something they lean into a lot on the modern Doctor Who. The companion will have a sort of more of a story behind him, if you like.
Yeah, that's a good question, actually. I think it might be. I think he might well be,
Yeah, they look like they're doing it again with Belinda a bit, don't they?
Oh, the new companion for series season 2, whatever it's the next series. It's so this is this is all taking place on a crashed colony ship in the far future, isn't it? There's like as far as if I remember, there's no more humanity left apart from these guys. These are the last remnants of the human race.
That's the planet,
and they are so far into the future that it turns out the Doctor's a little bit hesitant to go there,
which is interesting, because it's sort of the Time Lords, a sense of the Time Lords are policing it, and this would be a step too far.
When the like Doctor doesn't want to go somewhere, like it's got to be bad.
Yeah.
They're like, we should get back in the TARDIS.
But they're kind of caught in a meteor storm now, aren't they, around the planet? Love that shot. That was on the trailer. That shot of the spaceship.
The spaceship,
sort of crashed on the planet there.
That's a good map painting shot there as well.
It really reminds me, there was a show around the same time called Captain Zep, Space Detective.
Oh my goodness!
And it really reminds me of that aesthetic of the something about it, the lighting of the map shots.
See,
it's really cool.
You say Captain Zep, I would say Chris Foss for that design, that spaceship design.
Yeah.
Sorry, Jeff.
This is a really good set. This is great.
Well, it's all studio as well, and this was the cheap one, wasn't it? I think this is one.
Really?
Yeah. Because they had no location budget. They'd overspent on various other things, and I think eventually they went over time and budget on this as well in the end.
Right.
So this was director Ron Jones, I think, who'd done. Let me just double check. I think it was Black Orchid and stuff like that. He'd done it.
He'd done Time Flight.
Time Flight as well.
Episode, so.
And Arc of Infinity, that was the other one he'd done before this as well. I thought it was 4. So Black Orchid, Time Flight, Arc of Infinity, then this one. Then, of course, he went on to do the 2 Philip Martin stories of the Sixth Doctor, Vengeance and Varos, and Mind Warp. So, and I think he's got a really good eye, It's like we've already remarked on the lighting.
Yeah.
And there's a movement to the camera as well, isn't it? Now, again, this is all like the multi-camera setup, but you notice that backward tracking shot there. You wouldn't see that very often. So he's trying to get some dynamism into things.
Yeah. So Jonathan, you did a 5th Doctor comic a while ago at Titan, didn't you?
We didn't actually. No, we've never done I would love to do a 5th Doctor comic. That would be my great. I would do well, we'll see later on in this story. I think there's a gap where we could have a story with the 5th Doctor, Tegan and Tractator.
There's a few people out there that would be quite happy about Tractators. I
thought it was a shame we didn't see the Tractators again. Actually, there's still room. Maybe we will. Who knows?
Yeah, there was a plan for them to return. I think the Colin Baker period, but I think it's interesting because one of the special features, the DVD, Christopher Bidmead says. He sort of saw a woodlouse at his house and thought, that would make a good monster, and said, very modestly, he said that the script editor should have stopped me because I realised that there was no way we could do it on the budget. Yeah. In fact, rather than use your own initiative and say, I used to be the script editor, maybe this.
And his imagination run away with him. Oh, there's the Doctor with his clever specs.
I love it that he has the specs, and I think that should have been a thing all through the Davison years, because it's kind of a thing that, you know, Doctor Who. The Doctor is this incredibly sort of intelligent being who can regenerate and stuff. And I love the idea that his eyes aren't quite up to scratch.
Yeah.
He needs the little specs to see. You know, it's almost like the TARDIS is the greatest spaceship ever, except it doesn't really work.
No,
you know?
it's still got it's it with hammer.
Yeah.
Because
But yeah, and Davison clearly loves having that prop of the specs as well. They get whipped off and pointed. I think there's a deleted scene where he makes a big thing of them with the tractation point, you know, and doing that. So
yeah, there's something in the lens, isn't it? It's like a Time Lord clever lens or something that sees different spectrums of light and what have you.
And I think once you take a Doctor's sonic screwdriver away, they need some sort of prop to wave around. Yeah.
Tennant had glasses sometimes, didn't he?
Yeah. I think Matt Smith as well had some at one.
Mate.
Oh, he did, yeah, the big
round ones, weren't they? Yeah.
thick frame things.
Yeah.
So this is the young leader. Now, I think was it his dad that died in that opening scene? He was the old captain. So now this young kid is kind of inheriting the leadership of the colony.
I love it, and I love the fact she's called Plantagenet.
Yeah.
What a fantastic, you know, the idea that these people in the far future they've left the Earth, but they're still holding on to their history, and they've kind of reverted to, you know, old names like that.
Yeah, it's like an affectation or something. Do you mean? Like almost like they're kind of playfully dipping in.
It sort of makes the story so much richer, you know. It really adds to it.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah, it's world building, isn't it? And thought into it all.
That's something that's really strong about Frontios, I think, and it's one of the reasons I love it. Is the world building? I think, you know, we get a sense of a place and a time that these guys exist within. They come from somewhere. They were going somewhere. They're now here, and they are stuck in this hellhole, being bombarded. So they believe. You know, there's a real. I think honestly, there's such a tension in this story from beginning to end, and you know, everything kind of sells it. The world building, you know, the dynamism within it. A lot of people say it's a boring story, but it just holds my attention start to finish. I love it to bits.
So, what's his glow stick in a flask that he's got there?
The little fluorescent thing.
Yeah,
it's like phosphorus for the lighting and. So
okay.
Yeah, so they don't.
Because normally these things, they go into a cave and then there's suddenly really good lighting in the cave, and that's all. I heard that was described
hanging up there. Yeah,
I've heard that described as customers' moonlight. Somebody said, "Oh, how do people see when they go in caves in movies? It's customers' moonlight because you paid for a ticket to see the movie, so you should be able to see what's going on."
And this is Leslie Dunlop, isn't it? Who had been in quite a few things around about the time. She was quite a well-known face, and she came back to Doctor Who in Paradise. No, not Paradise. That was Happiness Patrol.
Yeah.
As Daisy Kay, I believe.
Oh, was that one of the ones with the big hair?
Yeah. She did have big pink hair, didn't she?
Yeah.
Like sort of Molly Sugden type hair. Yeah.
Very 80s, isn't it? Look at that. It's very 80s.
I think they've really pressed the pan pipes button on the synthesizer.
Yeah, there is that, isn't it? Who was it? Was it Paddy Kingsland who did the music for this? It is. It was Paddy Kingsland. Yeah. Yes, just had a double check there. So he'd done quite a lot of Doctor Who music, but I think he'd gone freelance by this time, hadn't
he? They look a bit like the guards there, the soldiers, like Starship Troopers.
I'll tell you where them helmets come from, mate. They're Blake 7 helmets.
Really?
Yeah, with the Federation badge kind of masked out and replaced.
Did I see
that? It's interesting because there was, I think there was a controversy at the time because on Blake's, or I guess a couple of years earlier, Blake 7, I think it was one of their aliens, they borrowed a Sea Devil mask. And John Nathan Turner was furious that they'd used a Sea Devil mask, so this perhaps was revenge that they pinched the.
See, that's not a bad shot, is it? Obviously, a bit of overlay there.
Yeah, that's really good. Yeah. They did do a Michael Myers with the Sea Devil mask, and turn it inside out and paint it white.
No, they made no effort at all. It was just
Blatant robbery. It's robbery, so it's theft.
Just for anyone who listening who doesn't know what I'm waffling about, the original Halloween mask on Michael Myers was a Captain Kirk Star Trek mask, wasn't it? That they turned into and painted white.
Oh,
yeah.
I know that. Oh,
I didn't know that.
Sorry,
No.
Paul doesn't know what I'm waffling
Oh,
about.
there we go.
Yeah. There you go. I've learned something new today.
And once you know that, you'll notice that whenever you watch the film Halloween, you'll be that's
Who played Kirk? I've completely forgotten his name off the top of my head.
William Shatner.
Yeah, Shatner. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it was the Shatner mask.
So you know about the mask, but you don't know about the man. Honestly.
Yeah, no, I blanked on it.
just Captain Kirk. Doesn't matter.
It's all right.
Everyone,
Do you know,
yeah.
I think between us we
not
have a
Chris
huge amount of
Pine.
knowledge.
Yeah, we can fill in the gaps between
Yeah.
us.
Mr. Range. Now, there was another actor who was due to play Mr. Range initially, wasn't there? And
There was.
it's quite a sad story actually, because I think did he do rehearsals with it? I can't remember now, but either way, he was about to start, and he got attacked in his home, and sadly died.
Oh.
So they had to
Yeah, I think he
recast
was
it at the
actually
last
on his-
minute.
I think he was on his way back from the costume fitting, so
that
it
was
was a
what it
very
was.
last
Yeah.
minute. But they also had a set designer, I think, who sort of stepped down, and someone else took over
yes.
at the last
Yeah.
moment. So there was quite a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes. So, as ever with these things, it's amazing these things turn out as well as they
Yeah.
do. When you think of all the backstage wrangling that goes
Well,
on.
yeah, just life happens, doesn't it? You know, on a film, on a TV show, people get ill, there's accidents, and it affects the whole production. And you kind of think, oh, this stuff, it doesn't happen on this kind of thing, but it does, of course.
Yeah.
The outward appurtenances. That's a word you don't see often. Combination of words. The invisible aggressors. And I think this guy who plays Plantagenet was a friend of Mark Striction's. Mark Striction's, wasn't he? Turlough.
Yeah, I think so. Jeff Rule.
Yeah, that's him.
He was in a show called Drop the Dead Donkey. That
was hilarious. Yeah.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah.
So
So, is the Doctor trying to get out of it at this point? Are you saying
No.
The best of
The
luck?
Doctor's kind of thrown himself right into it, hasn't he? Even though
Right,
he
okay.
shouldn't have done.
Yeah.
If you notice there, he was straight in helping the wounded. And
Yeah.
it's one of those stories where the Doctor just very easily gets himself involved and makes himself useful.
gets
And then
accepted.
it's only at this point now that somebody's starting to ask questions about, well, who is this person and why is he here? We're under attack. Well, it was all peaceful and quiet when we got here. Now suddenly we're under attack. We haven't seen who these invaders are. We keep getting bombarded. Could the Doctor possibly be responsible in some way? So those suspicions kind of start to layer in. But of course, he's already befriended Mr. Range, that guy with the glasses there, and his daughter.
I'm gonna start looking.
And then they're sort of working through the infrastructure of the ship, aren't they? Looking for some vital supplies. There's a lot of sets in here, actually.
Yeah,
Considering this is just the first episode, isn't it? I lost count of how many sets we've actually seen.
They look
quite
really
a lot.
good, and you said this was a sort of relatively low budget one. I mean,
Well, that's a Blue Peter prop there, that acid battery.
here's
Here's
one
one
I
I
made
made earlier.
Oh, is it another vibrating machine for Tegan?
No, it isn't. No, it's supposed to be like, is it like a battery or something, isn't it? I think.
That was in the Visitation, wasn't
The
it?
Visitation, yeah, it was Nissan's
Yeah.
vibrating machine.
Oh, listen, sorry, yeah.
Honestly, Jeff, where do we get you from? Who comes up with this stuff? You see the level at which we're at, Jonathan?
I do.
Sorry,
I do.
mate.
Oh dear.
If you're
No,
expecting
it's
highbrow conversation, it's not going to happen here, I'm afraid.
It's a few levels above me, I'm afraid.
Oh, they spilt some.
Oh,
Ooh,
it's like
acid.
alien blood.
Yeah, don't drop that.
Are they supposed to be up high on here because of the white background?
I think they're on top, on the very top of the spaceship. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the white background is actually a production error. I think there was meant to be something
Something,
matted in there, and they didn't quite make it. So I think if we were watching this on the no doubt the forthcoming Blu-ray release, I think they'll probably fix that.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if they do put a nice planetscape behind it or something. You know, you see some vistas. Vistas are always good.
I mean, again, these things are. I think even at this point of Who history, these things were designed probably to be watched once, maybe the odd repeat. They just had no idea that it'd be re-released on video and DVD, Blu-ray, and iPlayer, and poured over.
I suppose when they went out, that would have been it, wouldn't it? There may have been a repeat at some point in the week after or something, maybe. But yeah,
I think The Awakening was repeated later on in here, but I don't remember any other stories from this season. And you know, I remember as well. That's why I remember so much about this, because I was so into this season. When we got to the Caves of Androzani, a couple of stories later on, I just didn't want to miss a second of it. And it was at that time at school where I was doing like extra periods at school, and I had to get the bus home. And there was a couple of nights where the bus was just late, and I just remember getting so anxious. I'm going to miss like 5 minutes. I'm going to miss 10 minutes. I'm going to miss the whole episode. And literally doing that thing of running from the bus stop to my house, you know, and getting in and just, you know, fighting my sister and just to turn the TV onto the right channel.
Similar thing happened to me with Attack of the Cybermen. We were out shopping and we walked past the TV, whatever, Rumbelows or whatever it was, and all the TVs were on, and suddenly Doctor Who was on the TV.
And you're like,
and we were just like, thank God they were 45-minute episodes, because we got back in time for the end of the episode.
But it's so different these days, isn't it? You know, everything's on demand. Stuff that goes out, you know, live on TV is repeated an hour later on another version of the channel and stuff. And you know, I think if you weren't alive in this, but back then, you've really got no idea about that. Miss it.
Well,
that's it. You missed it.
I mean, we did have such things as VHS video recorders, Geoff, but they weren't. We didn't have one at this point. Actually, it wasn't until a couple of years after this, I think we actually got one.
They weren't releasing Doctor Who.
No,
but
you could record
it
at least.
Yeah, no, I know. Yeah,
hope
I had a VHS.
Hope and pray that it actually did record.
Well, that's it. You set your time on the VHS, and I remember trying to record Friends on a Friday night or something, getting home and finding it hadn't recorded, and you know.
Yeah, it was never an exact science, was it?
No, what? Why? You know.
Oh, and they used to have that. What was it? Was it called Video Plus, where you just put the numbers in? I think this was a '90s thing, wasn't it?
Oh yeah.
It's supposed to take the guesswork out of time, so you just put like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 or whatever, and it would automatically find it. No, it was just as rubbish.
Yeah, but my VCR had a thing where it would record an extra couple of minutes before and after your set time, you know, to allow for overruns and things. But quite often you'd end up missing the end of the episode.
Yeah. Someone just threw a whole bunch of rocks at the actors there. Yeah. You see that?
Yeah. Oh, this is a big moment there.
Oh, it is. Yeah.
So why do they need the battery thing to power the ship?
No, it's not the power of the ship. I think it's just to generally just power the stuff they need, like life to help wounded, life support type things. Look at that light behind that door, that orangey, dusky light. Yeah. It's beautiful.
Yeah, imagine if they had that up on the top, where they're supposed to be up high on the ship.
Yeah. So now they're after going. They've done their little bit. Don't tell the Time Lords. Back to the TARDIS.
Yeah.
But
the hatstand
is all that remains. The TARDIS has been destroyed. What a cliffhanger!
That is a good cliffhanger.
I remember
that's a great cliffhanger.
Oh man, that's so good.
And you remember at the time there was all this talk of, we might get rid of the TARDIS, and it was just, and of course it was, that'll never happen. It was a bit like, you know, when John Nathan Jones said, the Doctor, the Doctor might be a woman.
And,
no, that'll never happen.
Yeah.
But there was all this talk about the TARDIS going, and I think there was even talk about, the Doctor might travel around in a spaceship or something.
Yeah.
And it just and you thought that will never happen, and then suddenly at the end of this episode,
it's gone.
All bets are off.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, John Nathan Turner loved playing with people in that way, didn't he?
Yeah.
I think he just loved all that.
Yeah.
that storm in a teacup.
Do you remember the rumour that the TARDIS was going to be got rid of with Jodie, or maybe it was going to get stuck, but it was going to be a camper van that flew, and that was the rumour.
I'd love to see the TARDIS as a camper van.
Yeah,
the VW camper van. Are we going straight into episode 2?
Should we just let it tick through? I've got 10 seconds till it comes.
Yeah, 9, 8, 7. Yeah.
Jodie did a charity painting thing last year sometime, and she actually drew the Time Lord's camper van for hers.
Brilliant. I think that's amazing.
So, Jonathan, how many Fifth Doctor figures adorn your shelf?
Oh gosh, just about every single one, apart from one.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
One I haven't got. Yeah, there's. Because the thing is, hadn't realised that, you know, it's only when you buy a Doctor Who magazine that you know, a guide to all the figures or whatever. There was the Fifth Doctor in the Fourth Doctor's coat with the scarf, you know, the regeneration figure.
Right.
I haven't got that. I've got him in the shirt sleeves with the. I haven't got that one. That's the only one I haven't got. So I'm waiting for the Harlequin from Black Orchid to be a figure. That's yeah.
There's a really good website that chronicles all the figures in every era. You know,
Oh really? Oh, wow.
I'll check the link and I'll send it to you. And it is very good. I wonder if I could find it quickly now, and then I could tell people about it while we're chatting.
That would be very, very useful, because even though I don't think anyone can see, I'm petrified of somebody noticing that one of the figures has got the wrong sonic screwdriver.
They'll be freezing this on YouTube now and analysing your background.
Go through it. It's the Doctor Who action figure database, and the web address is dwactionfigure.weebly.com. And I've been looking at this site quite a lot actually lately, and it's a really good site. It's really good. Yeah. So, did you get your copy of the recent Third Doctor?
Oh, I certainly did. Yeah, certainly did. Ordered that pretty swiftly once they go. I'm always relieved when it's not a B&M figure, to be honest, because I'm not going to try and get hold of that.
They're actually they're putting a B&M near me at home here, which will be like a 5-minute walk away. It won't probably be ready till much later in the year, but that'll be handy because the other ones are quite far away. And as you know, it's quite hit and miss, isn't it? Trying to find them in the shops.
I was reading an amazing thread today actually on Twitter. Somebody was talking about what maggots were available in the packs. There's sort of maggot gate. People are very upset about what maggots they're getting.
Yeah, I think it was a bit of fun doing them, and I hadn't realised initially that there was 3 variants, and I wondered why the packaging was quite large in that area. But yeah, unfortunately, you can't please everyone, and there's people who are quite annoyed about it, sadly. And I saw someone had bought multiple versions of the figure, or multiple copies, and ended up with 2 out of the 3 out of them, and
there must be a way of people swapping them over.
I saw
a maggot exchange of some sort.
Join us on www.maggotexchange.com. If you want the maggot of your dreams, then get onto our website right now.
Yeah. See, in my days it was Panini stickers, but these days you've got maggots.
Maggots.
Need. I think we tweeted.
We tweeted like a whole Backstreet thing. Oh, mate, you got any maggots? Yeah, I've got a maggot. Which one
are your maggots?
Shut your maggots. So, did you see Turlough there threatening? Oh, here he is, threatening people with the hat stand, the deadly hat stand, which of course they don't recognise.
Which of course there's a fan theory that hat stand is actually Chameleon. Who is
interesting.
Of course, we've all forgotten about by this point. But yeah, he sort of saved himself by turning into a hat stand.
And why wouldn't he? Frobisher would do it.
Mm-hmm.
So now there's the mystery. This Plantagenet guy is a bit of a knob, isn't he? He's a bit of a trigger happy,
So
privileged
is that
kind of.
meteorite bits, not just stuff explode, from the ground?
Yeah, they think it comes from another planet, don't they? So the debris of another planet has somehow been directed to bombard these guys. So they think there's an enemy up in the stars somewhere throwing this stuff down at them, but they can't find out who it is.
I'm just looking at the.
He's off again with his
Fifth
deadly
Doctor
hat stand.
figures.
Sorry, mate, go on.
Yeah, I'm just looking at Fifth Doctor figures.
Oh, on the Weebly website.
You're absolutely this episode's really gripping you, isn't it?
No,
It's just,
I've got it
he's
on
already
another. There's a really good Caves of Androzani one.
Oh yeah.
Turlough's loving this hat stand, isn't he? He's like, come on, hurry up, get on. Rah.
Actors love a prop, don't they?
Yeah.
It's, like Davison and the glasses. It's
It's
cool actually because this story I'd actually forgotten that it does it gives Turlough a bit of story as well.
Yeah.
It sort of gives a little bit of an insight as to who he is and what he's obviously not of this earth, which is kind of.
Yeah, this is another thing I like about Chris Bidmead's stories. He does seem to give his characters lots to do, and he really knows, he really gets the Fifth Doctor. Unlike, more so than any other writer, I think. And that was a good bit of coincidence there, wasn't it? Turlough points out stand at Plantagenet, and he collapses to the floor.
Yeah.
We saw him clutching at his chest earlier.
Yeah,
Didn't we?
he's not a well chap.
I also like that Peter Davison's hair's got a bit longer by this point because the start of this season it was really short and it was oh no, doctors always should have. I think anyway that doctors should have as long a hair as possible.
Yeah, absolutely.
You think of Peter Capaldi. I felt like by his third season with the big hair, and that was when he felt really doctorish.
He did absolutely. Yeah, the bouffant.
The bouffant.
That was massive, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
Death's unaccountable. I haven't actually seen this story for quite a long time. Actually, I don't know how many years it is, but it's all kind of coming back to me there. That line, that file that Tegan finds in the drawer there saying "Death's unaccountable." I seem to remember that kind of means a thing, doesn't it? That comes back later on. A mystery to be solved.
I think it's a cool mystery, actually. I like that whole sort of. They kind of hold back on it for quite a while.
Yeah,
I
was just going to say, we're still in episode 2 and they haven't kind of blown it all yet by showing it. I mean, but she's been caught.
Yeah. Well, now we start to suspect Mr. Range of keeping secrets, and he's the good guy. Curiosity is dangerous on Frontios, not as dangerous as ignorance. Everything I learned in life about morality, I learned from Doctor Who.
Oh dear.
So here's a comment from someone online, Retro71. I think it's Davison's best performance as the Doctor. A great story with some fantastic dialogue. What do you two think to that?
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Yeah.
I don't think it's I think actually Androzani, I think he really pulls it out the park there, I think.
Yeah. There's obviously Androzani though is very much a sort of this is my last shot at this and I'm going to give it my all. I think Davison actually across the board in Doctor Who is really good. I think what I find really interesting is it's got that there's a strange thing of I think people misremember. It's like, oh, Davison, he's the bland, the youthful. He's really tetchy a lot of the time.
Isn't he?
He's really grumpy.
Yeah.
And then Hartnell is the one who's like, oh, Hartnell, he's really grumpy and unpleasant.
But he's playful,
he's really fun-loving and playful.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I said that to Paul when I started watching the first Doctor stuff when the collection.
You started watching season 2, didn't you? With the Romans.
Yeah, I hadn't seen that much of it. And exactly like you said, Jonathan, the kind of pervading images that he's grumpy and moody, etc. And I was like, he's having a right laugh here, and he's great fun, and it was really nice to kind of see that the perceived wisdom was wrong on it.
Which I think
I
I've said before, I put it down, a lot of it to kind of Terrance Dicks's sort of shorthand, because he would just have that opening few lines in the Target novels where he describes each Doctor in just, a grumpy old man or a bit of a cosmic hobo or what is it, the young old face and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And that kind of sets in your mind, I think.
There's a comment here from JJ who says, love it. Peter as the Doctor, perfect in this. Tractators look a bit static, and I thought at the time the TARDIS had been destroyed, as it were in the newspapers.
Yeah.
So, imagine, that time when, you'd have had no idea, would you, what was going to actually be happening.
Don't have to imagine, mate. We was there, weren't we?
Yeah,
hey,
yeah.
In the day when you were just a nipper. It's quite dark, isn't it, this story? I think Bidmead wanted it a lot darker as well. I think, when we get to episodes 3 and 4, things start to get a little bit gory.
Do they?
I'm not going to give it away, but it's...
I think with the Tractators, it's interesting because I think, would the story work better if they were sort of like xenomorphs or something crawling around the tunnels? They'd look better, but it wouldn't, to me, quite be Doctor Who. I think.
No, I agree. Yeah.
Doctor Who of this period, even though they're vaguely ridiculous, I guess, it feels very Doctor Who-ish.
They do. Yeah, I agree.
Phil Newman says probably Davison's best performance. Bidmead knew how to write for his Doctor better than anyone.
Definitely. Yeah.
Back come the Half Moon specs, the old man in a young man's body, irritable, sarcastic, and Hartnell-esque. If the Tractators hadn't disappointed, this would be rated higher. I've got to see these things in action and see what that is.
No, that's
It's interesting. The monster is yet to be revealed. We know there's something out there, but watching this the first time round, we don't know who it is, what they look like, or what they're actually doing. So
they learned a lot from Ridley Scott with Alien. Just keep the monster back.
Yeah.
It's a good point, actually, that Phil Newman says, actually, because I think this is actually a really good character piece. I think, like you said as well, Jonathan, where Turlough's got a lot to do. It's about the relationships here. Everybody feels like they've got the story.
Yeah, and there's I don't want to spoil it, but there's like an all-time great Doctor and Tegan scene, I think, in episode 3 or 4. I think it is.
Yeah. Block and tackle.
Yeah.
I seem to remember reading the Target novel. There's a lot of time given to that block and tackle.
Liam Rudden says, brilliant. Hold on, what's it called? Brilliant story, brilliantly cast and acted, but sadly ridiculously bad design and realisation on screen.
No,
I got to say,
no context.
I don't agree with that, Liam. Sorry, man. I think this is looking great for what it was. Tony Davison, Fifth Doctor, always looks cool with the specs on.
Yeah, Tony Davison, no relation to. Or maybe he is. That's why he's. No, Fifth Doctor does always that. In fact, that's what we need from someone. Get Al on the line and tell we need a Davison with the specs on.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. I will mention it if he's listening. He'll know.
Yeah. Come on. I've got a tiny bit of space in the cupboard to get.
You can always get another cupboard.
Yeah.
Here's a comment from Ducky Hoovian. Upside down roundels don't act like I don't see you.
Oh, there's an eye for detail.
That might come into the story later.
Indeed.
Oh, okay. Lego Who Bricks, Davison's best, most Doctor-ish performance. A great story. The twin dilemma should have been a sequel with Gravis instead of Mestor.
Interesting take. Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, for a story that people don't tend to talk about. It's kind of, I guess there are bigger stories this season.
I think that's maybe it.
It's a lot of people saying it's Davison's best performance.
I do think he's great throughout the season. I remember, probably not the only one here, but I just wish he'd done at least one more season, because this felt like he was really getting into it now. You know, he was so comfortable with it. The stories had somehow just kind of ramped up a little bit, and it felt like a bigger production. It felt like, and especially this story, this feels. I mean, I love the sci-fi stuff more than the fantasy stuff, and this is much more of a almost like a hard sci-fi kind of story. It's there's a high concept to it. Yeah, there you go.
And that's interesting, because I love him in Enlightenment. I think Enlightenment, when he's got the really long hair, it's quite Hartnellish, isn't it? You know, it's too short. You know, in Warriors of the Deep, he looks like a bank manager, but if he's got longer hair, sorry, bank managers out there, but yeah,
good bank manager.
He's got that long hair, and it's flowing hair, and he's got that mysterious interaction with the Black Guardian, the White Guy. I kind of love all that stuff.
You're right, because there's almost like something unsaid in that last confrontation in Enlightenment, isn't there?
Totally. And I love that, because the Doctor's on another plane. He walks in the world of gods and the world of these fantastical sci-fi situations.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Ooh, yeah. But yeah, another season of Davison would have been nice.
Do you feel that often an actor sort of fully gets into their Doctor in their last series, and you feel like, you wish there was one more?
To a degree, I think all of them sort of hit the ground running, but they just get better, I think, as they go.
That's what I think. Yeah, but you're often left wanting more.
Which I think is a good way to end it, to be honest. You know,
I think that's probably true of all Doctors apart from Tom Baker. Funnily enough, I was getting the feeling on that last season, Tom was just a little bit and I love that last season. State of Decay, I think, is another underrated classic. Legopolis is fantastic, but I just feel like Tom is ready to go at that point.
I get where you're coming from. Yeah,
there's a sense of all the young people coming in, and he's feeling a bit sort of past it. But
I think the kind of somberness that he has, the silhouette of Tom in that final. I mean, it's a brilliant. I love that season, because the whole concept of change, the foreshadowing of doom that just gathers darkness and momentum as that season progresses, and Tom's silhouette, that big burgundy figure, is right at the heart of it. And it's one of those seasons that is completely different, ends in a really different place to how it started. Change, and of course change is the theme of all of that. If we ever do season 18, I'll talk forever. It will be a mega podcast. But I love the fact that he is almost quite jaded and slightly out of place towards the end of it. It's look, Plantagenet's disappearing. He's not just disappearing, there's a special effect on him, which I remember freaked me out back in the day. That weird fuzziness, it's kind of creepy. I wonder if on the Blu-ray collection they'll do some weirder effect, but I hope not.
Do you guys like when they do that and, update the effects?
Sometimes.
I'll take that as a no.
Sometimes, sometimes I feel it's kind of because you kind of watch it and think, well, they've done that effect. Wow, why didn't they do because it could be the next scene will have a bad effect on it or a not great effect, and or it's almost like you've polished. So what's the thing from Alien where she says she's made a clean spot on the doll, and now she's got to clean the whole thing on mute rather, and now has to clean the whole thing, and it's there's not always the time or budget to do that. So
now this is purely out of Alien playbook, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's sadly not quite the effect we were looking for, but still kind of creepy.
Here we are.
Plantagenet's gone.
Oh, I need a better look. What's wrong with them? Why does no one like them? Is there a figure of them? I don't think there is there?
Tractators?
No, there isn't.
I don't think there is.
Yeah.
No. It's only a matter of time.
So now their leader's disappeared. And the society of this colony is hanging by a thread, isn't it? It could just erupt into anarchy and chaos at any given moment. And now they've lost their captain. The people think their new leader, Plantagenet, is dead. The bombardments are continuing. The suspicions of are just rife throughout the colony. People disappearing into the floor. Meteorites from space. What have we done to deserve this? It's like a conspiracy theory gone wild almost. And, you know, it happens, you know, people become afraid, then they get angry, and yeah. You mentioned about these phosphorescent type lamps, these chemical lamps.
Yeah, I didn't
They're
realise
kind
it
of
was,
what give, you know, it's a good way to get a certain kind of lighting in the story, isn't it?
Mm.
Because now everything's green, underlit, very spooky looking. Tegan sneaks past the orderly unsuccessfully, threatens him with two ends of electric wire. Oh.
Whoa.
See, now there's an effect that probably would benefit from being redone, as they usually, you know, the flash goes off, they all look blinded. It wasn't much of a flash there.
No.
So maybe with a bit more of a bang, we might get the reaction.
That's true.
I love it that those guys didn't notice her there.
That's a very short skirt, Tegan. Crikey.
I know, it's come on, Tegan. You just.
It's just not
Show my love.
It's not practical, is it? Really?
No, I think Doctor Who has something of a history of like sort of generally the companions adventuring in time and space, wearing
inappropriate clothing.
Yeah.
Not given the amount of quarries that turn up, you would think would.
Oh no, this is what really sells the Tractators for me. Mark Strickson, he knows them. It's like a race memory, isn't it? Deep inside him, and it's somehow bubbling up to the surface. He knows Tractators somehow, which again just adds to the mystery of the character, doesn't it, Jonathan? Like you were saying, it's, you know, we don't know who he is really,
but it also makes the villain like a force to be reckoned with, because I remember this thing. They were on our planet and they burrowed into our planet, and we had to leave the planet, or people were killed or whatever. And it's it's a show. It's a tell don't show thing of rather than doing a flashback. But Mark Strickson, I think, is really good in this.
He is. Turlough screaming.
It's quite nice to have, like you said earlier, you know, a bit of mystery to the character and almost an arc to him, because you didn't really get that.
Well, it was a bit of an arc with Turlough, definitely, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's
I think
what
it quite panned out exactly how they planned it, but nonetheless, it was there.
No, because it's funny.
Oh, sorry, John. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say it's funny because it's just the way the show was at the time. But you think there should have been some there should have been a huge arc with Nyssa, Tegan, and the Master. You know, this is a man who's murdered their close relatives, her father, and wearing his body. And then whenever Nyssa, like Time Flight or whatever, or they meet the Master, it's just business as usual. Whereas, how disturbing would it be to see somebody wearing your father's face, causing all that carnage? And
which I think, if Chris Bidmead had continued being the script editor throughout Davison's run, I get the suspicion we may have seen that, because I think that's the sort of thing that he liked to kind of play with, I think. So they're Tractators, giant woodlouse.
So, Jonathan, what about doing a Fifth Doctor mini-series where the Tractators come back?
Yes.
Yes,
I would draw and write that myself.
You've been to it. I was going to say, I would love to do a story with Tractators. There's so much stuff. The power they have is just unreal.
Is pretty cool.
It's all right.
I mean, you know, they don't move much, but
it's their movement. I think is their weak spot. I think the original idea was that they would be able to roll into a ball or crawl along. And I think they even went to the length of hiring dancers to
they did
play them, who are then caused just can't move
because the costume is so restricted. But it's I'm so pleased to be watching this. I absolutely love this story. So good. It's Jeff's first time. What are your initial thoughts then, Geoff?
I've really enjoyed that. I think it looked great. And there's an intriguing kind kind of mystery element to it. I'd like to go back and watch it. I've had the sound on like level 1, so I could hear things.
Yeah.
I'd like to go back and watch it properly and do that. But yeah, I'm looking forward to watching the other 2 parts for it. It's good, yeah, and it feels like Peter's really kind of on fire there in the role, and it's quite. It feels a bit different, but just him and Tegan and Turlough. There's less kind of bickering that you were getting with the others. I never kind of, I didn't. It was fine, and I like Nissa and stuff, but they all kind of rubbed each other up the wrong way a little bit. And I get, you want a bit of drama, but this was quite nice that there was a bit less of that kind of thing. So yeah, I enjoyed it, and as you've seen with the comments from people, I think there's quite a lot of love.
There's a lot of Frontios love out there, isn't there?
Yeah.
Which is great to see.
I thought it was just me.
No, it doesn't. No.
Well, you said to me when we had you on last time, didn't we? And you said if we're going to do this, it's got to be Frontios. So, and I was absolutely up for that.
Well, I quite like. There's a lot. I mean, apart from Twin Dilemma, which I'm not a fan of, I do quite like an underdog Doctor Who's right. Like the Chase.
Yeah.
To me, is like it gets such a bad rap, but I love the Chase. I think it's such
Cockney
a fun.
Daleks.
Yeah, all that stuff. Why not? It's
Absolutely.
a art. Experiment, really.
It is, isn't it? It is like Doctor Who celebrating the culture that surrounds it, and of which it is a big part of. Because obviously that was the height of Dalek mania right then, when the Chase, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So Daleks were as big as the Beatles, and the Frankenstein stuff, and then we get the Mary Celeste thrown in for good measure, and it's brilliant. Yeah, I love the Chase. Yeah. If we got any Chase fans out there, do write in and tell us your Chase thoughts. But
don't tell us it's too far fetched.
No, don't do that. Well, the Empire State Building, that's rubbish. What? They're having a laugh. So this is great fun. Are we going to reconvene for parts 3 and 4 at some point? Are you going to be able to do that with us, John?
I think we better, absolutely. I need to find out what happens next.
We can't leave it hanging.
You can't leave me hanging here. I need to see what's going on.
Yeah, the TARDIS was destroyed at the end. That's it.
Yeah, that's it. Turlough dies with a hat stand wrapped around his neck.
So, Jonathan, just before we go, is there anything that you can share about forthcoming comics? Or do you want to tell us when we're not recording?
Oh, I can tell you everything. Well, we're going to no, I'm very pleased to say we are currently working on a new run of 15th Doctor stories.
Brilliant.
Wow.
Stories, I should say story.
Oh.
But it's such a big story, it feels like lots of stories. What else can I tell you about it? I can tell you very little, except there will be some new enemies and some old enemies, but not quite as you might have seen them before.
Oh, okay, that sounds very exciting.
They're not tractators, I'm afraid, sorry.
Building it up.
But now you've mentioned that, we haven't quite done issue 4, so maybe I'll
always
put a tractator in there somehow.
Is it the same creative team that have just done Everyone Must Go?
We will be announcing, there'll be a proper comic announcement of who's on board quite soon. Yeah, my marketing team will kill me.
If I tell you.
We're going to announce the creative team during the football cup final. So in the half time.
Oh, where? Oh,
not really.
Oh.
But suffice to say, I have to say, as I mean, if it's, I'm going to say it's fantastic anyway. But it is really cool. Everyone that's been working on it has been having a wild time.
That must be such good fun doing that.
Yeah, there's some big surprises in it, and some fan pleasing moments. Let's say, because I was pleased, so I'm a fan. So
yeah. And when do you think we might start seeing this? Is a rough idea?
Really good question. If I do this, I'm actually looking at it right now. I think we're aiming for towards the September, October time.
Okay.
So it will be
In time for Christmas.
Yeah, in time for Christmas, but also a nice kind of
Gap fill.
Doctor Who time, isn't it?
Yeah,
and,
yes.
and then
Definitely.
obviously, obviously it'll sort of, when people have watched the latest season, you'll be able to have a little bit of Doctor Who in the autumn.
Excellent.
Enjoy,
So
time,
I've
yeah, for
got
it.
two other questions for you.
no, okay.
It's,
You thought you were just here to watch Doctor Who, didn't you? No, there's
go
more,
on.
my friend.
Go on.
so,
Yes.
is there any update on the Dan Slott stories?
Oh,
Not at the moment.
Okay. And,
We are sorry. Big exclusive for you there.
not at the moment.
and we talked about this before, but is there any 13th Doctor cliffhanger resolution coming?
I can't say at the moment.
Oh, that sounds interesting. Okay.
Maybe when we're not recording, I'll just tell you the story, Jeff.
Okay.
But yeah, no, I can't say at the moment. But yeah.
Okay. Well, that'll have people's all of that will
That'll
have
just
people's attention.
fuel the flames
peaked.
now, won't
Yeah.
But I have to say, just to redirect things away from the danger area, I have to say that no, the 15th Doctor storyline we're working on at the moment, it's
epic.
top of the shot. I'm
great.
so excited.
And you said that it's big and there's a lot going on in it, and this recent one was like that as well. It starts out with Dick Turpin, and then which was the free comic book day one, wasn't it? So I went into town to get that, and then it leaps to the last shopping mall on Earth and or on the planet, and there's a lot going on in it. It's a big old adventure. Yeah,
it's. I think the thing with these is because we do essentially one story for issues a year. Like we always say, like make it like a season finale.
Yeah,
make it.
That's a good
make it as big. There can't be a sort of mid-season. It can't be Awakening. It has to be Caves of Andromeda.
Yeah.
As much as I love the Awakening, but yeah, you've got to keep it as big as possible.
Because it's quite a competitive world, isn't it? There's so many titles out there for all kinds of things.
Well, yeah, even just in the world of Doctor Who. I mean, if you think about, if I was a younger man, I would be sort of, what do I spend my pocket money on? Do I buy a John Pertwee action figure, or after saving for quite a long time, or do I buy a comic book, or
audio box set, all of the above.
Audio box set. There's a lot of Doctor Who out there, so we like to really make it something that people feel they get their money's worth from.
And enjoy over and over again.
I hope so.
I'd just like to say, or ask, I suppose, Maria reminded me of Newt. Would you say that was
Aliens
intentional? Yeah.
I'm not. Do you know what? That's never come up. That's so funny. Almost certainly. I don't know. I can't speak for Dan. So
I can't comment because I read it.
Or you won't believe what happens at the end. That's a really good question. I don't know is the answer. It was obviously kind of all created by Dan.
Yeah.
Came up with the story, and now you mention it, obviously there are parallels, but. Yeah, that's very issue. I mean, the influence of Alien and Aliens on everything.
All
so
sorts.
far
Yeah,
reaching,
it's
I mean,
absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember there being a comic strip in Doctor Who magazine in the mid to late 80s where all the characters were named like Cameron, Ripley, Bean, Weaver, and it was almost like so obvious. So yes, so
I took it as a nice homage to it. Yeah,
Exactly.
Oh yeah, almost certainly. Yeah, yes, yeah. We certainly wouldn't ever nick an idea.
Oh no, that's not what I was. That's not what I was implying. No, not at all. No, that's good. Homage.
I'd nick it.
Yeah, no, that's very. Yeah, that's very true.
Well, we should, as you said, Paul, we should reconvene at some point soon and finish these off, and then we'll arrange to do another commentary on something else in coming months as well. So
that's it. You're on the team now, Jonathan.
Yeah.
Oh no, right. Oh dear.
Yeah.
They dragged me in.
That's a good place to be. I'll tell you, the queue is massive. So
really? Yeah.
Privileged to be there, mate.
Yeah. You've got Shooty on the line there. Yeah.
I can't say exactly, but I'm looking at them right now, and
No, well, oh right. Touche.
Brilliant, Jonathan, Geoff, all the J's. Look at that, it's brilliant. Apart from me,
no,
Paul.
I'm a G.
You're a G, but it's a J sound, isn't it? Guys, it's been an absolute pleasure tonight. Thanks for joining us on this. Jeff's first time, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you to you guys. Thank you to all our listeners and our viewers on YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share, and all that kind of thing, because the more people who listen to our show, the more we can continue producing this wonderful event after event after event, and enjoyed doing so. So thank you for listening once again, and join us for the next episode coming very soon. Bye for now.
See you then. Bye.